Welcome to this new video about framing and matting photo paper prints. I made this video because in the last time some more people are asking me how did I make my framings and what's the best way I think is to display my pictures. Since I'm working on two different kinds of framings nowadays, I decided to show you this backstage progress I made during the last year. So while I was making my framings and matting my photo prints made on fiber-based papers. So the first thing I will point out is how I make my La Dolce Vita made in Germany framings, which are shown in photos like this. What I decided to make when I made my framings was to make a framing that was looking very thin, as you can see from here, very thin when it was hung on the wall, because I didn't like to make it very thick. So since the photos are pretty big, this is 40 by 60 centimeters, so the entire picture is 80 40, no, it's 60 by 80 centimeters. It's pretty big. So no professional workshop wanted to make these thin frames for me, because they said the framing is too thin and the picture can't stay stable. It will bend or fold somehow. So I decided to make it on my own, and because I know I could. So I started with in my workshop sewing the sticks for making the external frame, which are very, very thin. I think they are 10 millimeters by 15 millimeters. So 15 millimeters is the size that's shown in that's this size here, 15 millimeters, while 10 millimeters is just the width, the thickness of the picture from the wall. So here you are. I prepare everything. I make my sticks and then I join them together using the manual jointer, as you can see here. As you can see, the framings are very thin, and this is the work in progress of making an entire set of frames for my pictures. Because my goal was to make a very thin black edge all around, very thin, as thinner as possible. And this is what I ended up in making. So the next step, I prepare my own mats. As you can see here, I trim everything by hand. And I use museum cardboards. I think 3.6 or 4 millimeters thick, acid-free, not bleached. As you can see, the white is natural compared to other cardboards of commercial use, which are whitened using some compounds that are not present in a museum type cardboard. I trim my cardboards with my measures. And as you can see, the final look will be this one, okay? It's a regular mat with an angle degree cut. So I put my mat on the frame. This is the back of the frame. So far, everything would be that loose that would be impossible to handle. But the next steps, you will understand how I make them perfectly flat and rigid. So I stick the photo paper on another museum cardboard. I use a hot press to stick my photos together. This is a no, that's not Thermophoto. It's a masterpiece, a seal masterpiece, Thermopress. The same one Yeah, it was used by Ansel Adams, exactly the same model. As you can see here, it's a normal thermopress where I put my photograph on top of a museum cardboard, and everything is squeezed together by the thermopress for a due amount of time. And the final result is this. You see, the fiber-based photo print is stick to the museum cardboard. The materials I use to stick the photo to the cardboard are described in an article which I published on my website, which is you can find it in the bottom menu of my website, www.michelepero.it. In the bottom menu there is a file which is called mounting info. That's very important for everyone to know how to correctly mount fiber-based photo prints. In this case I use wax, a thin wax sheet which is thermally activated, which is completely underneath the entire photo. It is removable, so if I one day want to detach this print, I can just pass through the hot press again, and this photo paper will detach from the cardboard. I don't see a reason now for doing that, but I do not use any solvent or any glue, any tape for doing this process. That's important. Next, the mounted photo print goes coupled with the mat, and finally I'm missing one passage, and finally I put this back panel here, which is not cardboard, because if I put a cardboard here, the entire sandwich, mat, museum board and back would not provide a stability for such a big frame. So I use this thing here, which is called the D-bond. What is D-bond? D-bond is a panel made of 2 sheets of aluminum with a polyethylene core inside. They can be made, they are made by a German company, distributed all over the world. They can be very thin, up to 3 millimeters, or 2 millimeters, I can't remember the size of my panels, but they are aluminum basically, which provides a very good stability, and polyethylene inside, a very inert plastic, which provides lightness of the panel. So the panel is light, as you can see. The panel is light because there's plastic inside, but rigid because of the aluminum foils on both sides. So here we are. This is a D-bond panel, which is thin and rigid. So the entire coupling of my picture is makes the frame unfoldable, unbendable. I complete my work with a Sekizui tape, which is not the one in the picture I show you here, not even the one in the picture I show you here, but it's a tape which is made by this Japanese company. Sekizui is the name, and it's for archival purposes. Once the tape is put on the back, it doesn't move anymore. As you can see, I use also pins to firmly attach all the panels to the frame. And the final result looks like that. Everything fits inside a very thin frame. And that's it. You get this piece, which is rigid and will stay flat forever. I do not use a glass because I don't like it. because I like to show what I make in a way the observer or you can see and sometimes even touch. You shouldn't, but you might go that close to see the actual piece of art without any means in between you and the piece of art. This is what I like to make. Eventually, I could put a very thin glass, 1 millimeter size, because there's still room within the frame, but I never thought about that, to display a work of art behind the glass. That's not my point. So here we are. Final result is this. As you can see in this picture beside, there is a glass and you can see a reflection on the picture. I absolutely don't like it. This is a commercial framing provided by IKEA. As you can see, there is no tailoring here. And I don't like it. I like to show the work as is. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.